for the soul. You see who's on the screen there, the thumbnail? That's Little Richie. Don't let us forget about our history. The African American community has always embraced the LGBTQ community before they were called all of those alphabets. And Little Richie is a testimony to that. Don't let them erase our history by saying otherwise. Now, let's begin. I am glad that Dave Chappelle came out with the special identifying exactly what I was seeing. When I saw the baby being torn in pieces, I could only think about Kevin Hart and how someone pulls up an old tweet of Kevin Hart talking about his own child and then says that he's homophobic. Kevin Hart then began an apology tour. In my opinion, the LGBTQ community is using their community as a front to racism towards African Americans or black people in this country. Point blank and period. That's just my opinion. What the baby said during a concert of many other artists was inappropriate, and he should have apologized. But time after time again in this country, they find their way to go after a black person's revenue, much like they do in Africa. When an African leader is not doing what they want them to do, they take them out of office. All we have to do is look at Guinea. Period. Dave Chappelle pointed out a lot of comparisons, and he talked about how people in the LGBTQ can be racist. And I think that some of and I have a very, very close person that is part of that community in my personal life. So I think that some of the LGBTQs that are black just don't get it. All I have to say is that they really don't care about us. Us meaning black people. And so they're using the LGBTQ to be a tool to push back on black identifying anything that's positive or that's standing up for themselves, and calling us, of all people, the people that embraced Little Richie back when America was ultra conservative, when we had media back in the 50s. And Little Richie was very flamboyant with being gay. You wouldn't see a black family utter a negative word about Little Richie. I'm sure he had his challenges, but we in the black community have no more homophobic ideologies than any other community. In fact, Little Richie is a testament of how we embrace that community and always have. But I digress. What Dave Chappelle did was brilliant. Because if you don't see how they've been using the community that are part of the gay community to push back against black people as a whole, then I don't know what to say to you. And what I have to say to my brothers and sisters that are black in that community is that they don't seem to get it. They don't care about us. That includes you in the black LGBTQ community. And yes, we have people in our community that are homophobic, but so do white people. But when this homophobia is being used as a tool to demonize people, it is wrong. Point blank, period. Dave Chappelle also gave a few other comparisons and analogies. But I think the most brilliant analogy was that one, because that one is being used as a tool against our community in so many different ways. It's almost if, and it happened, in fact, during what I call the George Floyd movement last year, where some black LGBTQ, who will go unmentioned, unnamed in this commentary, stood up and talked about, in the middle of the movement now, that black people also have some racism of sorts that they practice against the LGBTQ community. And at the time that we were in the midst of our movement, that was not the appropriate time to bring that up. But I digress, because apparently it was for that particular person. Dave Chappelle said a lot of things that made a lot of sense. And he ended it with the word, "Stop punching down on my people." Because the bottom line is, black people end up having to, you can call a black person anything, you can shoot them by state sanction in the street. Hell, you can shoot them by staying your ground and kill them. And walk freely without any repercussions. But you mean to tell me that you say the wrong thing to the wrong community, you're going on an apology tour, point blank and period. Where's the apology tours for African American people? Where are the apology tours for black people as a whole worldwide? Where are they? Because I don't see any. I don't see any apology tours for the Haitians that helped get the Louisiana Purchase done. For those that don't know, I don't see any Chesapeake battle reception for the Haitians like they do with the French every single year, per se. But what I do see is black people being taken advantage of, and on again, we come up with new tools. When we talk about the Asians in our community, they're in our community making money. But the Stop Asian Hate campaign was all about putting a black face behind it, until that white boy in Georgia went around shooting up massage Asian-owned parlors. And what did the police officer say for that white boy? He was just having a bad day. So no, Dave Chappelle's not wrong. What's wrong is that we need to get on board. We, meaning those in the community that are black, that are not on board and understanding the tools that are being used to oppress and continue to oppress black people around the world, has to stop. Stop punching down on our people. Dave Chappelle's special was epic in terms of identifying. I really like Sticks and Stones. That's one of my favorites at this time. But that analogy that he did on just about everything was totally on point. And we have to understand that a lot of communities and a lot of issues are oftentimes organized to oppress us, or if it's something else, then we're made to be the face of it. Last time I checked, we black people weren't involved in Hiroshima. We didn't push no buttons in that. So if you want to stop some Asian hate, I think we need to look to those that are white to do that. But we oftentimes become the face of negative things while pretending in the mainstream that white people are the angelic figures. There's nothing angelic about oppressing people, and there's nothing angelic about not accepting an apology. Always, every time you see a black person in court, family, where they have killed their family members, you almost always see black people saying they forgive the killer of their family member. But yet, you talk about somebody, the wrong group of people, especially in this country called America, and that black person has to go on an apology tour. Apology tour. Kevin Hart went on an apology tour. From what I understand, I'm not keeping a track of the baby, but from what I understand, he too is still on an apology tour of some sorts. So no, we got black people in the courtroom forgiving people that have killed their family member. Yet, we don't even have a bill to stop black hate. Really? Dave Chappelle was right on. Period.